it is possible to have the world's most comfortable, effective, beautiful breast pump designed by a man, if he's listening to the people that are using it, really hard. So I think, there are pumps that are designed by people who are trying to solve this problem. I think they do come up against a few things. And the first is just, how do you manufacture something cheaply enough, reliably enough, safely enough to fit every single woman who's ever going to use it on the planet? And so I think that's probably the reason why these pumps are made from quite a hard plastic or even a hard silicon, is because it can be really hard to work with really soft materials, and it can be really expensive. And then the second thing is that when it comes to sizing, I guess if you think about it, like if you put a pump out there that is the standard size that it comes with is quite small, it's only going to fit a certain number of people, and it's not going to fit everyone else. So you're actually kind of end up putting out pumps that have quite a large kind of what we call the funnel. So the bit that your nipple gets sucked into, that size of that funnel, or flange they call it as well, is actually, we find, often quite a lot larger than most women, because it'll fit more women. But that's when you start drawing in the areola. That's when you start getting pain and damage, because you're pulling, sorry to make anyone squirm here, but
no, we've all been there.
Yeah, you're pulling in way too much of your nipple into this shaft, and you're not doing it once, you're doing it repeatedly, and then you're doing it in 3 hours time, for 6 months, whatever it is you choose to do. So I think there's a bit of a predicament for pump designers and pump manufacturers. But having said that, I don't think that that's a reason to stop. I think you just have to have someone come along and try that, what I would call like the research and development side, where you're like, okay, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more expensive for a bit, but it might shift how we design these things. And in a few years, maybe softer silicon is easier to work with because we've ironed out all the problems, and it's cheaper, and now we can make it available for everyone. So I think, it's easy to get angry at these manufacturers, but often they are trying. It is a tough ask to get this right, and to make sure it's safe for people as well. But I don't want to be apologist about it. I think that it can really do with a bit of change.
So in this deep dive, what did you end up creating that was kind of a cushion? Describe that.
Yeah. So what we would do is, what I wanted to do was create almost like a shield that you could stretch over your pump, whichever pump you had, and it would be made from extremely soft silicon, like your breast, the same kind of softness as your breast, and that soft silicon would essentially support your nipple. So if you had a smaller nipple, the soft silicon would kind of mold towards it and protect it while you're pumping. And if it was a bit larger, the soft silicon would stretch around it. And that was how I figured we'd get this, get a wider range. How many people this is going to work with is going to be more, because this silicon is so soft and supportive. So that's what I wanted to do, but it's not super easy. We ended up 3D printing these casts. So we're sort of printing like a little mold, and then we were pouring silicon in, letting that set. And then at my next pumping session, I'd use that. And sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. And we did that about 20, 30 times until we found a design that actually kind of worked. So I could get milk out. It was more comfortable. And it actually stayed on the pump. A lot of the time it kind of like peeled off and did all these annoying things. I think I had a few, by about prototype 12 or 13, I remember one time like just picking it up and throwing this blob at the wall. I was like so frustrated with it, but we sort of pushed through, and in the end we have this silicon cushion. And so that was about 3 years ago, and we since then have started making those in a medical grade facility here in Melbourne, and they're available for almost any pump except for those the really cool wearable ones, like the Elvies and the Willows. We haven't made one for those yet.
So that's amazing. What is this product called, Alex?
It's called Milkdrop. So the company that we have is called Milkdrop, And the product is called a breast pump cushion.